Hello, it's Nikki. Yeah, I'm makeup free. My house is a tip, and I've left my makeup bag in the bottom of the buggy, and Matty's gone out with Luna, so I've got to make this video. I keep saying this that sometimes you've got a window and you've got to do it, and you will have every excuse in the world. Like today, I was like, oh, I can't go on the internet with no makeup on. It's fine, I'm doing it. All right. I wanted to share a few answers to some of the questions that I've been getting in my DMs after my stylist gig at the weekend. And I think sometimes, well, basically, when I was growing up in Scunny as a small kid, we didn't have the internet and we didn't know the answers to any of the questions. And I felt like I was constantly, well, not like technically, but I was in like a computer game and I couldn't find the way out and nobody was telling me the answers. And this was at a time where if you wanted to find out about a band, you had to buy the album and then fill out your name and address and then get like updates on a postcard. So now there are things that I do know the answers to. I want to share them with you, because for a long time I just felt so lost. No, seriously, I did. Like, I didn't know how to do things. I've had to figure it out. So if I can shortcut it for somebody else, that is, I feel like that's my responsibility. All right. So many people said, how did you get that gig? And how do you get other gigs? LinkedIn may be your best friend in terms of finding out who that person is that you need to speak to, but also somebody may know them already. So don't be afraid to reach out to that person and ask for an introduction. But make it really easy, and you'll see this as I kind of go through the other questions. Make it really easy for that person to be able to action it. So put together something so people know that you're serious. Sometimes I get these things of like, hi, can you just do all the work for me? And you think, no, you have to be in the game as well. So make sure that you've done your research and that you're good to go, because there's nothing worse than doing an intro for somebody or really helping somebody out and then they mess it up, basically. Number 2, people have said, how have you had the confidence to do this after just having a baby? Or some people will say, you're a nutter for working. Somebody said that to me the other day, which is fine, but, you know, it was an hour's work. The truth is, my brain feels really good and I feel very confident in my ability of what I can do. I've worked very hard for many, many years. Body-wise, don't feel confident at all. It was a hideous thought that I would have to be so public and not really know what to wear, or just not feeling that great in my body yet. I'm sure it will come, but also I'm only 10 weeks in, so I'm not beating myself up like I don't look 27. You know, I am nearly 40 and it's going to take some time after having a glorious bubba, so I'm very grateful for that as well. Third, how do you get people to read your emails and then hire you? Again, for me, it's always about the easy wins. I want people to be able to read something and know exactly what to do with it. So many times I get pictures from my podcast that are all like, this person is great, and something is really obviously copied and pasted, and it's just not helpful, you know? It's a bit generic, it doesn't make you feel special, and I know that sounds very egotistical, but you know, you want to be a match for that person and you want to spend some time putting something that is bespoke to that person. 4, how do you show up consistently with kids and when you don't feel like it? So many people have said, how have you made so much content since having a baby? I used my maternity leave really well. My pregnancy, not maternity leave. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean my pregnancy really well. So many of the videos, you'll only see me from here. So if you, like, I don't have a bump now, but if you just looked at the video and it panned down, you would see that I was very pregnant. So I got very intentional during my pregnancy about what I wanted to do and hopefully what the next chapter looked like. Like, obviously we had no idea, and we're very grateful to have a healthy baby. maybe I should absolutely say that as well. But I was strategic. I felt good in my pregnancy generally, so I didn't spend the time just watching Homes Under the Hammer or any such thing. Like, when I had energy, I optimized it, basically. Also, as well, when I talk about showing up consistently, I'm only really doing things and talking about things that feel really easy to me. This is so key. If it feels hard, if you're feeling resistance the whole time, and this is not about moving out your comfort zone, because that's something completely separate, but if you're in flow, if you love talking about what you love talking about, it's all going to become much easier. I'm conscious of the time, so I'm going to rattle through. How do you know what to say on in terms of topics and what you're available for? I know what I'm good at, and I ditch the rest. So I'm pretty strict about where I can help, basically, what lights me up, where I feel like I'm in my zone of genius, which is a great term from The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. If you haven't read that book, I would highly recommend it. How do you cope with imposter syndrome or being intimidated by other people at events? I know this comes up a lot, and sometimes when you've seen somebody online, you're like, oh my god, look, the real life person. The truth is, over the years as an actor and as an agent, this sounds very showy-offy, but I've met a lot of famous people, many of which have been complete arseholes, and as kindness and being a nice person are very high up there in my value systems, there's nothing like watching somebody show some awful true colours for you no longer to be intimidated by them. But yeah, just remembering that they're there to do a job the same as you. They're probably a bit shy as well. This is the thing, it's very easy to be big online and hide behind a camera and sit in your living room on the sofa, but you know, when we all have to leave the house and put on a bra, who knows what could happen. When did you know when to charge, and how did you decide? So this was about speaking. I know lots of people talk about this in terms of doing it for exposure or doing it as a favour for somebody or all kinds of things. I have a rule of thumb, basically, apart from charity stuff, which is a completely separate thing and something that I can, think about on a case-by-case basis. My general rule is, if somebody is charging money on the door or for their course, or they're asking you to contribute in some kind of way where it's a paid service, I feel every person should be paid in that circumstance. And I have said that to clients in the past where they've been very kind and they've promoted other people's events or stuff or all these sort of things. And I've always had that moment of, are you getting paid as well? So when did I know when to charge? I kind of decided. It got to that point where I was getting on 2 trains, a bus, not a plane, but I was, using a lot of transport, giving up a lot of time, preparing, really over-delivering and doing a good job, and it was time. It was time to charge. And you get that feeling sometimes, and sometimes you have to get that feeling a few times before you actually charge, but you get there in the end. Okay, how do you cope with nerves? I prepare really well. I control my environment. How do I say that in a different way? So because I've auditioned a lot over the years, I've really learnt to know what I need and what's important to me and what's going to help me. So having loads of conversations with loads of different people. I mean, I'm not one of those sort of actor lovies who's like, la la la, like being really loud and proud. I'm much more like, I need quiet, I need space, I need all that sort of stuff. And days where I have to do things that are potentially scary, I keep everything else very simple. So I'm not tag teaming loads of different things. And finally, how do you know how to stand out? You have to know who you are and be all right with that, which is more complicated than this, me, saying it very casually. But you have to be willing to go the extra mile. Sarah Blakely shared a brilliant thing about Spanx being 19 years old and that she didn't it wasn't an overnight success. So yeah, I'm going to go into this more detail in another video because I can see my time ticking. Any questions, leave them down below. I want to talk more about this. See you in a bit.